morning, everyone. This is my cat. She likes to sleep right next to me. Alright, so time to check on the little plant babies. If you didn't notice, we're in my closet right now. And here's my little hydroponic setup. So right now we got some basil, got some thyme, and got some sage growing in there. So yeah, I pretty much just call these my closet herbs. I know it sounds a little sketchy, but I swear, it's just regular herbs. So you can see, I don't know if you can see necessarily on the camera here, but I'm starting to get a little bit of yellowing in there, which is usually a sign of low nutrients, especially in the magnesium department. So this solution here has a little extra Epsom salt in it. So I'll just dump that in there, and then hopefully that should be good to go for a few days. So I'm finally just about ready to head out, but first things first, gotta get the bands on. Boom. So first stop for the day, I haven't had enough coffee as usual, so I'm gonna go pick up a cup, and then we're just gonna head out to the property and just take it from there. So let's go. But yeah, so now that I got my coffee, we're gonna drive out to the property, and we got a few things that we need to talk about that happened this week in the never-ending search for permits in Bernalillo County. So I gotta say, I really underestimated the snow out here. It's probably about 6 inches deep still. Assuming my truck can get through it, so we'll probably still just drive up to the front. I really didn't want to have to lug the bags of concrete that I had on the bed. Man, there's seriously so much snow out here. So obviously I knew that it had come down, but I just had no idea how much it was, and apparently it was a lot. Home sweet home. Man, you guys, check out these countertops. Oh my goodness. Man, those still just look so good. I love it. I'm sure it sounds like I'm being pretty over dramatic about these things, but I don't know. They just really look good. I'm really happy with them. As usual, it looks pretty good to see that no one broke in still, so I'm very happy with that. So we have to head back outside, gotta unload all the concrete, bring it in here, just store it for the time being. I picked it all up yesterday when I thought we'd be able to put in the solar rack that actually needs to be ground mounted. So being Bernalillo County, they completely rejected my solar application, so we need to redo that again, and I didn't want to install something and then have to change it or rip it out. So yeah, we just have to store some concrete for a while, and actually I don't think I'll put it in here. I'll probably put it in the shed. I don't know why I'd leave it in here, but unfortunately, being in the mountains, it is still cold out here, and I still have no propane, so hopefully get moving around here and warm it up a bit. But anyway, let's get to work. So I don't know if you guys noticed when I was moving the concrete over to the shed, but the door's kind of just hanging open right now, and we got to do something about that. Okay, what am I actually looking for here? So I decided I probably shouldn't be dumb and go this route with things. So I'm gonna do something a little bit weird, but it at least won't be permanently damaging to the door frame, unlike if I just went straight to boring it out. So instead, what we're gonna do, get rid of our spade bit here, and we'll take, where's my bits? Yeah, so we'll just take a Phillips and unscrew the bottom couple of hinges, so then that way I can at least hopefully lift the door up into the latch, as opposed to it being out of square like it is. It's not a permanent fix, it's just gonna be something temporary. But it's kind of annoying driving up here and always seeing my door to my shed always open. So yeah, let's get this fixed. Okay, so I think I discovered the problem. When they were framing this place, it looks like they didn't leave enough gap on the bottom for the door to actually fit, so they just kind of wedged everything in there. Because the latch is literally overlapped by the hole it's supposed to go into. So since there's something wrong with the framing, in order to get this door fixed, we have to tear everything apart, probably move a stud. Of all the things I could have done wrong, this is probably like the worst one, so it's gonna take me like an hour to get it fixed, but whatever. Let's get it done. It needs to happen. The store shouldn't be swinging open all the time anyway. I don't want mice and rats getting in there, so. So the reason this door doesn't really line up is, if you take a look at the latch there and where it intersects with the actual thing, bolt, slide mechanism that comes out of the door, they're off by like a ½ inch. It's because this whole door is completely out of square. I don't know what they were thinking or what they were doing. Yeah, look at this, like, look how off that is. It's literally like 3/4 of an inch right up here. Okay, well, yeah. All right, so just a pro tip for you guys. If you're building a shed and you're putting in a header above your door, make sure you use screws that actually go into the wood. This is literally just laying on top of the door. So in case you're asking yourself, does he even know what he's really doing? The answer is halfway. I generally get the idea of framing and how doors go in, but I'm just kind of ripping because I don't think there's really a way I can do more damage to this thing than there already is. So yeah, we're just tearing into it. Let's see if we can get this thing fixed. Okay, seriously, this got me kind of worried about what I'm gonna find on the inside of the house if I start tearing into the walls, because that's our stud right there. I mean, there is a full stud in the back, in the actual corner. But in terms of right here, I mean, they cut it a whole inch off and it took them 2 blocks to throw it in there. So the door frame's finally cut back. I just cut it back like a ½ inch. So now we're gonna go ahead and take the door, see if we can fit it inside. looking over what's going on here with the door, this is very much not a perfect solution or a permanent solution. I just want something to keep the door shut, which is now what it's doing, but the latch is still a little bit off, so basically what I think we're gonna have to do at some point is just tear this whole thing down and rebuild it, because there's a lot of shoddy stuff in there. It's a standing structure, but it needs to be built a lot better than it is, and you can even see like the gaps in all the siding, so it's bad on the outside, it's bad on the inside, just needs a kind of a revamp. So we'll do that at some point, whenever. I don't exactly know when, but it's not in the timetable right now. So I'm gonna assume you guys didn't expect to see such quality door fixermanship in the video now, did you? No, I know it's, like I said, it's not a perfect fix, but it's gonna be something that at least we'll be able to keep the critters out and be able to have that door shut. I really would like to, once the weather gets nicer and once the house is finished and I'm living in here, to be able to go back out and kind of honestly just do a full rebuild of that place, because it doesn't look really good, and it hardly functions, and there's gaps in the walls and everything like that, and it's just really not well done and not done to a standard that I want to be living in. So at some point we'll get that all taken care of, just not today or now. So earlier I had mentioned that my solar permit packet that I submitted to the county got instantly rejected, which honestly, as you can imagine, was pretty frustrating for the time. But now that I've had a decent amount of time to calm down and just see it the way it is, I'm honestly kind of fine with it. Once I got out of the permit office, I got in touch with a solar company in town, and they're basically going to be able to take all the specs, drawings, and everything and put it into a package that will actually be permittable, which will be really nice just to be able to have them take care of it and to take care of the installation, wiring, and everything as well, and make sure everything's up to code so that I have a nice, safe place to live in. With working full time and with all the other things I have going on the side, I personally would prefer not to spend all my free time trying to figure out electrical wiring and code and what exactly needs to happen for it to be done the right way. So in the end, as frustrating as it was at the time, it's gonna be okay, and it's gonna be done probably a lot better than it would have been done on my own. So I'm over that hurdle at least. However, when it comes to the building permit, still haven't done an initial submit on that. I'm still waiting on the drawings to come back to be able to put everything together and send that off. With the way that the solar permit went, I'm kind of expecting the worst, that it might just get rejected anyway. But I mean, that's the building process. I'm doing this for the first time. I have no experience with it. I have no experience with pulling permits or anything of that sort, so it's going to be a good learning experience all around, regardless of what happens, and I'll be fine with that. I think I've finally come to that point, which is good. Once everything does get permitted though, it's going to be really nice just to be able to bang things out one after the next, especially now that we're moving out of the snowy season and things will be melting, drying up around here, and I can actually start focusing on getting it finalized to live in, because obviously that's kind of the point. So yeah, that's kind of what's going to be happening in the next few weeks, is just working through all that process to get everything permitted and to, of course, have it all done the right way and have it done properly. But all that I really have to do today is I'm going to be making a few trips out to my storage unit over in Edgewood and pulling stuff out of there, because right now it's just sitting, and I really don't want to be paying an extra $60 a month to have my stuff just sit somewhere when I can just throw it up here for the time being, or continue to get rid of it and pare down more. But yeah, so that's going to be the rest of today's agenda, is just getting that kind of taken care of, get all my stuff moved over here. I really don't think it'll be that much of an issue. Everything's pretty easy to carry. It's just going to take a few trips is all. So without further ado, let's go ahead and switch over to Edgewood. Well, the day just keeps getting more and more fun, because if you look right here, that's my truck. That's where it was, and now that's where it is. So I'm gonna have to have someone come out and yank me out, especially because if we walk over here, you'll notice that we're pretty close to the ditch and we're basically just going to be driving through mud, so I really wish this thing had four-wheel drive in it. I don't see a way that I can feasibly have this unless I cover over this slab or something so it doesn't get snow on it and wood chip everything. I really don't know. At least hopefully this is like one of the last snows, so hopefully, I don't know, I'll be able to figure out something before next year, because this really sucks. I have someone from church who's going to be coming out and helping me out, but yeah, this is not really the way I wanted to spend the day of waiting on other people to help me, but it is what it is. Just gotta deal with it and figure out a solution to move on. So we'll get out to the storage unit at some point, just not anytime soon apparently. Well, if you take a look around, we're not stuck anymore. So massive shout out to Mike from our small group at church. But I was thinking of calling it a day after that, but I really gotta start getting stuff moved out of the storage unit. So here we are, gonna start hauling some boxes, get them loaded up in the truck, probably make a few trips out there. I'll probably just park the truck out front and at the end of the driveway and hand carry all the boxes up to the house, but oh well, gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, so this is all the stuff that we gotta take out. There's really not that much in here. Just some, as you can see, medium boxes and just some odds and ends that I don't really need to be storing in a storage unit. Just keep at the house. All right, well, let's get hauling, see how many trips we can get in before it starts getting dark.